Hey guys, Abby here, and we're back with another episode of If I Were You, where I try my best to answer your questions and give some advice based on my experiences and my point of view. And I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. Kinailangan lang munang magpahinga ng konti and to catch up on work and many other things. But I'm so glad and so excited to be sharing with you this video again. And for this video, I picked again 4 questions na sasagutin natin for today. Hindi ko napapatagalin. Here are your questions. Okay, first question. Is it really needed to block someone after a breakup? Ano ba to? Block sa social media or sa totoong buhay? Well, iba-iba kasi tayo ng paraan ng pag-handle ng mga breakups. 'Di ba? Of course, depende din 'yun sa sitwasyon, depende sa ugali ng partner natin at ugali din natin. But if you're asking if it is needed to block someone, then I think it really depends if good breakup ba or bad breakup. Depende din sa sitwasyon at depende sa kung paano mo i-handle yung breakup na yon. Like I said, magkakaiba tayo ng ugali when it comes to breakups and there are so many things to consider. Like kung alam mo na mahihirapan ka lang mag-move on kung palagi mo siyang nakikita sa social media, nakikita mo yung mga posts niya, then I guess that it is better for you na i-block mo siya. You have to do everything that you can to help yourself. Pero naintindihan ko kasi may mga times na after ng breakup, sometimes you go through a phase, well, not for everybody, for some, you go through a phase na parang gusto mo pa rin malaman kung anong ganap niya, kung ano nangyayari sa kanya, kung ano yung mga pinagkakaabalahan niya, 'di ba? You kinda wanna see how the other person is doing kahit wala ka na sa buhay niya. 'Di ba? Aminin, gusto pa din maging updated sa buhay niya kahit break na kayo. Kasi hindi din makakatulong sa'yo kung palagi mong nakikita, tapos pag nakita mo, maiinis ka, magagalit ka ulit, and paulit-ulit lang yun. 'Di ba? So, kung toxic yung relationship na pinanggalingan mo, I'm sure ayaw mo nang makita yung taong yun sa totoong buhay. And what more on social media. So, I guess kung ganun yung pinanggalingan yun na relationship, it's best for you to block that person. And for example naman, good breakup and you know that the other person will have a hard time moving on from you. Siguro i-assess mo din kung mas makakatulong ba, kung of course when you still care for that person, kung mas makakatulong kung iba-block ikaw na, take the liberty of blocking that person na lang para hindi na siya mahirapan. 'Di ba kasi may mga ganun naman na situations na good breakup and you just want to help each other move on at alam mo na hindi makakatulong sa kanya kung nakikita ka pa niya sa social media or kahit saan. So, I guess you can take that into consideration also kung magde-decide ka whether to block that person or not. Breakups are never easy, so wag kayong mape-pressure. Wag kayong mape-pressure sa iisipin or sasabihin ng ibang tao na, just because you blocked a person, hindi ibig sabihin na weak ka, hindi ibig sabihin na, ay, nahihirapan mag-move on. Aba, talaga mahirap mag-move on. 'Di ba? Don't give in to that pressure of other people because hindi naman sila ang naghihil. Ikaw ang naghihil. 'Di ba? So, decide on what you feel is best for you, not what you feel you want to show other people na parang, strong ako, kahit hindi ko siya i-block, kaya ko mag-move on. Kasi di ba minsan may mga taong nagsasabi na, binlock mo, nahirapan ka mag-move on, or binlock mo kasi nagigilty ka about something or whatever. Di ba? Huwag kayong magpapadala sa ganun. Your emotional and mental health is your priority here. Yours and not anyone else's. Isama mo na din pati ang physical health mo. Kasi 'di ba baka mamaya hindi ka na makakain dahil may nakita ka sa stories niya na may kasama na siyang iba, 'di ba? And that's not good for you. You deserve to be completely freed from that relationship that you decided to end. And if I were you, I would also probably have this dilemma na ibablock ko ba o hindi? Kasi syempre it's hard to like cut it off right away for some. 'Di ba? Ang hirap. And I guess what will really help you with your decision is to first figure out kung gusto mo na ba talagang mag-move on o hindi. Kasi kung ayaw mo mag-move on pa, kahit anong gawin mo, hindi ka makakapag-move on. Kahit i-block mo pa yan or kahit hindi mo pa siya i-block. But if you have decided to move on, then things will be much easier for you to decide on. Prioritize yourself. Huwag mo iisipin kung ano yung mararamdaman ng ibang tao or mararamdaman ng ex mo. This time, ikaw ang unahin mo. Sarili mong unahin mo yung mental, emotional, and physical, and your whole being. 'Di ba? Do what is best for you. If you think blocking someone is what is best for you, is what will help you heal, then by all means, do it. But if you feel like you will be okay, and you can handle it well kahit hindi mo i-block, then it's not really needed. Magkakaiba tayo ng ways in coping with breakups, in coping with moving on. So, don't be pressured and just do what is best for you. And the next question is actually quite related to that. Ano po ang pinakamadaling process para makapag-move on? Ayan, ako, ang dami kong natanggap na questions about moving on and I feel like it's about time na sagutin ko na yung mga tanong ninyo. Sa totoo lang, the easiest way to move on is non-existent. Wala. Sorry to say this, but there is no easy way to move on. And there are no shortcuts either. Moving on is never easy if you truly love that person. Well, moving on is never easy. Period. There are no shortcuts. Kasi kapag minadali mo yan, babalik ka na naman sa simula after a while, madadapa ka na naman, mafo-fall ka na naman sa kanya. You won't be fully healed if you rush the process of moving on. When you go through a bad breakup, sometimes it feels like naguho na yung buong mundo mo. 'Di ba? Napakahirap. Apektado lahat. Apektado yung personal life mo, daily life mo, your work life, even your relationships with other people, apektado din. And it's going to take a lot of time and patience. You have to be patient with yourself. And at the same time, the people around you have to be patient with you also. Kasi syempre, alam ko na yan, the people around you will want you to be okay. Also, because they care about you. 'Di ba? Ayaw nilang nakikita kang malungkot at nagmumukmok. So, they will try everything that they could to help you. But it is also important for these people around you to understand na hindi ganun kasimple 'yon. There are things, of course, especially when it comes to a breakup. There are things that you can only heal on your own. So, pakiusapan mo din yung mga tao sa paligid mo na, I will be okay, but please be patient with my healing. You have to be able to tell them that, and they have to be able to also respect that. And maybe that's also when you know na totoong mga kaibigan at may malasakit sa'yo yung mga tao sa paligid mo. So, paano ba mag-move on? Sa totoo lang, there is no fixed formula for moving on. Dahil, like I said, magkakaiba talaga tayo ng ways to cope with breakups. But of course, pagdating sa pag-move on, you have to start somewhere. And like I mentioned sa isang question natin, the first step to moving on is deciding to move on. Is to actually want to move on. Kasi nga, 'di ba, kung ayaw mo mag-move on, kahit anong gawin mo, walang mangyayari. So, kailangan gustuhin mo siya. And kailangan firm ka sa decision mo once you decide na mag-move on ka. Kasi yan ang tutulong sa'yo every time that, you'll feel sad again, every time that you'll remember many things that will make you crumble again. Mare-remind mo yung sarili mo na hindi. This is what's best for me. And that will really help you also. And if I were you, I would also want the pain to end right away. Also, I would try everything. Try my best to keep myself happy, do everything para maging masaya na lang ako ulit. I just want to speed up my healing. And I will also need people to tell me and remind me to be patient with myself. I always think about pregnancy when it comes to a process or when it comes to healing. It's funny, but healing is like pregnancy. Parang pagbubuntis yun. Di mo naman pwedeng iire yung bata ng maaga. Kasi gusto mo ng manganak, kasi gusto mo nang makita yung bata. So you'll really have to be patient. You have to wait for the full 9 months. And in the 9 months, you'll really have to take care of yourself. Only then will you be able to give birth, of course, after 9 months, and then healthy ang baby. Kasi inalagaan mo yung sarili mo. And it's the same thing with healing. You can't rush the process. You have to be patient with yourself, and you have to take care of yourself in the process also. Wag mo abusuhin yung sarili mo. Wag mong i-pressure yung sarili mo. But be comforted by the fact that every day you are one step closer to being healed. And of course, pray. Wag niyong kakalimutang ipagdasal yung mga sarili ninyo. Pray for the strength to be able to endure and withstand the pain while you are in the process of healing. Pray for the ability, the capability to be patient with yourself, because not everybody is able to be patient. Yung iba talagang hirap, and that's not even their fault. And that's part of loving, taking risks. Sabi nga nila, 'di ba? Love never fails. And if it fails, it just means that it wasn't meant for you. Naku, madami pa akong gustong i-share at gustong sabihin, but I'll end it here. And if you want me to make a whole episode about moving on, please let me know. Next question. I feel lost and I'm in my 30s. I'm so depressed and afraid. This answer isn't just for those who are in their 30s. This is for everybody. Because the feeling of being lost doesn't really come at a specific age. You can feel this at any point and time in your life. And sometimes you don't just get this feeling once. You can experience this over and over again. I understand because, I have experienced this. Every now and then, there are times when I still feel lost. Lalo na ngayon na nagkaroon ng pandemic, parang halos lahat may ganung pinagdadaanan din eh. Pero ayun nga, I go through this every now and then. Diba? Kung iisipin mo, anong malas mo naman na parang paulit-ulit mong nararamdaman yan. But, I realized that maybe I always feel lost because I'm going in the wrong direction. Siguro sa daming beses ko na siyang na-experience, parang hindi na ako nambabad trip. I feel like it's a good thing. Because, come on, imagine going in the wrong direction your whole life. 'Di ba? Mabuti na lang na nawawala ka para maitama mo yung landas mo. Kesa sa buong buhay mo, mali pala yung tinatahak mong daan. So, I feel like in the moments when we feel lost, God is giving us a restart. Another chance to choose His plans over our own. Kasi madalas when we take matters into our own hands and when we follow our own plans instead of God's plans and we don't leave any room for His plans, sure ball na maliligaw tayo ng landas. But you know what? That's not even our fault. That's not your fault. I really don't believe in coincidences. But I believe in God's incidences, that everything happens for a reason. Maybe the reason why you went through this certain path, the wrong path, is because meron kang importanteng lesson na kailangan matutunan muna doon. Maybe it will teach you patience. Maybe it will help you learn how to keep your mind and keep your options open. Maybe it will help you to trust in God more. You see, without these things that we call mistakes, we cannot learn. Mistakes are made so that we can learn from them. They're not always a bad thing. So whenever you lose your way over and over again, or at any point and time in your life, don't blame yourself. God is either preparing you for the responsibilities that you will need to take once you get those blessings, or He is preparing your path. God's timing is always right. And I know gasgas na tong advice na to. Naririnig din na minsan yung mga tao pag yan yung naririnig nila na advice. Trust in God's timing. But you know what? That's the truth. He is never early, He is never late. And I really want to say na huwag kang matakot. But, fear is an involuntary response. It isn't something that we can choose not to have. 'Di ba? Di natin kontrolado yun. But I guess what I can say is that fear is temporary. The feeling of being lost is temporary. But let that motivate you to try other things, to explore your options. And you know what? Do it while you're afraid. Do it even when you're afraid. That's the only way you'll forget about the fear. And if I were you, I'd feel the same way. Takot, depressed, and pressured. Kasi feeling mo na pag-iiwanan ka na, feeling mo tumatanda ka na, and wala ka ng karapatan para, to feel lost. But that's not true at all. Feeling lost is something that we regularly experience, and like I said, at any age in our lives, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It helps to know that you are not alone. It helps to know na hindi mo kasalanan kung bakit ka nagkakaganyan. And it helps to know that you are being given another chance to make things right. And I hope that this reassures you of that. And for our last question, any advice for those in their 20s and feel pressured? Our 20s. Nako, super relate ako dito because of course, I myself am in my 20s. And I totally understand why you feel pressured. I feel this all the time. Our 20s kasi is like an awkward, pressuring, and liberating age. Dito kasi nag-a-adjust tayo to becoming adults, 'di ba? We are not quite sure what we want to do with our lives. A part of us wants to become an adult real quick, and a part of us wants us to still enjoy our youth. A lot of decisions, I think, in our lives are made in our 20s. And we really feel the weight of those decisions. Kasi syempre, natatakot tayo magkamali. We feel like if we get it wrong now, our whole life ahead of us will be wrong. We will just continue to mess up. 'Di ba? So, sino ba naman ang hindi mape-pressure sa ganun? 'Di ba? This is usually the age where kaka-graduate lang, nandyan yung pressure ng paghahanap ng trabaho, paghahanap ng career. And I feel like this is the biggest pressure of our age group, 'di ba? Kung ano yung path na dapat nating i-take. And also, yung source of income. Siguro marriage, not so much yet. Pero yung source of income, yung stability. 'Di ba? Kaya sobrang nakaka-pressure talaga. But one advice I would like to give to people in their 20s and to myself na din, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Make as many mistakes as you could in this age because we learn from them, and that is essential for growth. I think it would be really difficult to grow wiser if you got it right all the time. Kung palagi kang tama, 'di ba? Don't be afraid to try and fail. Kasi dyan mo madidiscover yung mga strengths and weaknesses mo. Dyan mo madidiscover yung mga limitations mo. And don't let it overwhelm you because your limitations is where God is at work. And one last advice, and my favorite advice to give, siguro naririndi na kayo dito para sa mga regular na nanonood ng mga videos ng Love Abby, be patient with yourself. Be patient with the people around you and be patient with your situation. Be patient. Not everything will happen all at once. Our 20s is the time where we plant. And the following years are the time for us to harvest. And if I were you, I would be pressured too. Actually, right now, I am really feeling a lot of pressure because also maybe of the pandemic. But ganun talaga eh. Pressure is also good for you because it is what will push you to continue to discover, to continue to explore your options and, the things that you can do, your capabilities. And it takes a lot of practice to be able to be okay with making mistakes, to be okay with not having everything figured out yet. It's difficult, lalo na when you see others na kaedad din natin who are already achieving and who seem to have it all together, those who seem to have their future planned out already, 'di ba? Mahirap kasi nako-compare mo yung sarili mo, naiisip mo na, bakit siya 20 plus pa lang siya pero ganito na, ako hindi pa. You know, it will really take time for you to be able to learn and discover that you are going on your own pace. Kaya be patient and go easy on yourself. We are only human. Let's enjoy our 20s because you know, time goes by so fast and before you know it, 30 ka na. And we don't want to look back on our 20s and see how stressed we were. 'Di ba? We want to be able to look back and say na, ito yung rason kung bakit ako nag-grow. Ito yung kaya ako na nahirapan ng 20s ko. I made so many mistakes but it got me to where I am now. 'Di ba? We want to be able to say that. So cheers to our 20s and living with no regrets. And that's it for today's episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed as much as I did reading and answering your questions. And again, if you have any questions or if you want to ask for advice, please don't hesitate to comment on the comment section below or send us a message on our Instagram and our Facebook. And who knows, your question might be part of our next video. Again, thank you for watching and God bless you always.
Do you want to know?